Hey everybody, I wanted to speak on something that is important to me. And first of all, before you start the witch hunt, we offer personal training. I started my career doing personal training and I support personal training, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about why I don't really like personal training for kids that are in development and athletes in particular. And I'll start off by saying that there are a percentage of people that personal training is probably the best option for them, at least for a percentage of their training and instruction. But let me explain. The problem that a lot of kids have now, and it's always been an issue, is they're not comfortable without a complete support system. And parents in this day and age have created this situation where we make life easy for our kids and then life turns out to be very hard for them when they're adults or even when they're adolescents. So this is part of the dilemma. When you personally train a kid, that kid becomes dependent on being just fed information, fed feedback, fed instruction, being watched at all times. What is this doing? This is robbing this kid of learning how to self-reflect, self-analyze, seek coaching. See, when you allow yourself or your kid to dictate how they get instruction, then you're not going to foster their ability to seek it and find it in the ways that they need to. And same thing goes for small group training, groups of 4 or less. And even we could extend this to, I want to sign up with APEC, but I only want to go to the time that his friends are at. You're doing the same thing. You're only allowing them to be in a comfortable environment where they feel like they can learn. You're pacifying them. You're creating a situation where they're not going to grow from a standpoint of being able to take instruction and coaching. And look, some of y'all that are out there were like, that's easy for you to say, you do group training and all this. Yeah, but let me tell you something. We have small group training options and we have personal training options, and they're for very specific reasons, mainly injuries or social issues, or maybe in conjunction to the regular training programs, even on the professional level. But I will tell you that, honestly, we could build a model for small group training that would make a lot more money. I just don't believe in it long term. I don't think it's what kids need. And I'll give you some more examples. Let me go further into this. Two of the common denominators that we have with every professional athlete we've trained, that we started with on the elementary school level all the way up to their current state, wherever they're at professionally, they can find a way to get better and take instruction no matter the group size or the level of the group. That is one of the common denominators. It doesn't matter if they're the highest level athlete in the group or the lowest level athlete in the group, or if the group is a bunch of people jacking around, or if they're very serious. High level, high performers, it doesn't affect their ability to take instruction, absorb instruction. Why am I saying this? You want to facilitate you want your athlete to have the opportunity to pull information from any environment. You want them to work hard no matter who's in a group with them or what group they're around or who's there. That is what high achievers do. They don't need to rely on competition. That is a very low. So what I would say is that you need to put your athlete in situations where they learn the skill of taking instruction, pulling coaching from a coach that's coaching 60 people, pulling instruction from someone that's coaching 16 or 12 people. There are benefits from working in a group. One, hormonally, we know that your body will respond. It's a survival instinct. When people are around each other, they elevate their performance. There's adrenaline, there's testosterone, there's a lot of factors. So those things you benefit from in training. Olympic athletes don't train one-on-one all the time. There's group settings, and there's some one-on-one things that they do. When I train Patrick, he isn't one-on-one with me all the time. Patrick's in a group with other athletes, sometimes with college kids, well, most of the time with NFL players, working on things he needs to, and then sometimes it's one-on-one. There's a reason. It's not because we couldn't do that or he doesn't want to do that. It's because it's the best thing. So your kid's no different. If you think your kid needs personal training, what you're doing is you're teaching them that they need someone. The only way they're going to get better is if they have someone right there all the time. You are hamstringing their ability. You're to learn how to take coaching. You are enabling them to not have to learn how to develop the skill of taking instruction from a coach or only being comfortable in the exact situation they want to be in order to get better. That's not realistic. That's not realistic. And the kids that we know that have relied on personal training through the years, they really struggle the older they get. They struggle in the group setting. They struggle in the team setting. They struggle. If you ever get to college, try being a professional baseball player at the major league level and only getting better from individualized instruction. Trust, it's not going to happen. You've got to learn. These kids have got to learn how to self-analyze. These kids have got to learn how to find coaching where they're at. Their best situation is you not creating a situation that's ideal for them. Don't play sports with all your friends. Don't be in a class with all your friends. And I'll go further. One of the concepts that we believe in is the concept of relatedness. You put your kid in a program up here or anywhere. There's a lot of places you can do this. You put them in a program up here. Don't put them in the class time with their friends. Okay? What's going to happen is they're going to have somebody from one side of town. They're going to have someone from Palestine, Lovekin, Mount Pleasant. They're going to have a bunch of people they don't know. They're going to have a bunch of people they're looking at that they're going to have preconceived notions and bias about. Like, oh my God, that kid looks like he's so much faster than me. Oh my gosh, never been around anyone that looks like this. I bet they're stronger than me. Or this kid's so much bigger than me. I bet I can't do what they do. So the concept of relatedness is gaining confidence through what you are and what you aren't, and learning how to be comfortable with yourself, but also having a better education of what people are and who they are out there. So that connectiveness, that relatedness concept, that is a growth opportunity for your athlete, not as an athlete even, but as a human being. They need to learn how to relate to people that they aren't comfortable with, that aren't just their friends, that you don't just create this perfect environment for them. And then furthermore, they need to learn how to thrive in that environment. So once you are around a kid that you think is 10 times better than you in everything, and then you do something better than them, all of a sudden you start gaining confidence and realizing, hey, I do have value. Hey, I can do some things better than this kid that's a foot taller than me and an incredible athlete. Or you start to learn that there's not that much of a gap between you and them. There's a lot. And then also the athletes that are dominant start learning that some of these kids can do a lot of things better than them. It's just it's a beautiful thing. And when you force your kid into personal training because you're trying to do the best thing for your kid and it's expensive and they need one-on-one instruction or small groups because there's just too many people in a group, you are stripping away that opportunity for them to develop in ways that are going to last for their success no matter what they do, especially outside of athletics. So I am passionate about this. I don't think it's a good option. If you're going to do personal training with your kid, there's a lot of great trainers out there. I would recommend it be a small supplement. If it's more than 25% of their entire training load, I think you're in trouble. I mean, even if people want to do personal training here, we try to make it as short term as possible, get them in the groups, or we make it a supplement. Small group training, I think small group training is great if there's very specific needs. Say it's a group of gymnastics that are in season, or gymnastic athletes that are in season. That's a good example. Say it's a group of quarterbacks that need something on the side. That's a great opportunity and a valid excuse. But if you think it's just because your kid doesn't get enough attention, you need to flip that around, and your kid needs to find a way to suck the lifeblood out of the instruction that they get. Because when they get to college, God forbid, when you get a boss, when you get out in the real world, this one-way DVD coach, like right here, that is facilitating terrible habits for their development, let alone athletic development. So yes, you need to find people that have a great curriculum and can do individualized coaching in a group environment. That's something you do need to find. But that doesn't mean you need personal training to get that. So I really went rant today. It was a pretty disorganized talk, but I don't believe in these things for kids. I think they should be minimal at best. All you personal trainers out there, I started there, have a lot of respect for what you're doing. We still do it here. We still have personal training and small group training options. I just don't think it's the best option for anybody. But we'll take what we can in opportunities to help people. Now, I'll also speak to something else. This is just personal experience now. I used to do a lot of personal training, and what I found is that my athletes or my kids they didn't, this is the other thing that was the worst part of it. They didn't perform well in the setting that I went to watch them at comparatively to when I was with them. And part of that is a psychological and emotional dependence thing. They didn't do well at all. So I would go to the games and be like, I know they're better than this. I've seen them do better than that. What's happened is I created an environment where they could thrive, and I over-facilitated that. I enabled them. And then when I'm not there, when I'm not the one giving instruction, either they have a negative attitude about their leadership when I'm not there, or they just emotionally can't get in that state that I facilitated for them. It's a real thing. So a question from Stefan. Love the insight. How many kids would you recommend being in a group at a minimum? Man, I think that's a good question. I think in a minimum size group for kids, gosh, 6 to 8 is a good minimum. I really like between 12 and 20 because I think that really there's a lot of diversity in a group that size, and the energy is just huge. It snowballs. I think when you get beyond 20, it's a different dynamic, and it takes a lot of talent to have a coach that can command that in a way that that makes it great. There's a lot of logistics involved. These high school coaches, middle school coaches got an incredible job in front of them. I think 90% of that is organization, and that's tough. But you have got to raise a child that can learn in those situations. You can't not put it on the coaches and be like, oh, well, it's just that groups are too big. And then coaches can't be apathetic and be like, well, my groups are too big, so I can't help them. You know, that's nonsense is what that is. And that's what's wrong with a lot of the parenting right now. And I shouldn't really be talking about parenting, but I am, because that's what this is people think that their kids need all this one-on-one attention, and what they're doing is they're making their life easy, which is going to make it hard. It keeps them from developing skills that they need to develop. If you want to be great at anything, let alone sports, you better learn how to seek information where the information is present. And it doesn't matter what your environment is and your comfort levels are. And you can start that with your kids right now. So this went way too long. I hope you guys have a great Friday. I hope that this doesn't go viral the wrong way. And I hope personal trainers don't hate me for this, because you still have value. But I just don't think that kids need to do it. So God bless. Everybody be well.